covered the entire front door in duct tape. So
where you even get this much duct tape from? That doesn't even look, it looks solid. How did I not hear any of this? Hi, I'm Guy. So we're watching an Obsession video today, or more like a video on the movie Obsession type shit. We're watching, shit, what's the movie called? Not the damn movie, the video. How to beat bear stupidity in Obsession. Now, I actually haven't watched Obsession. I know, crucifixion, I know. I have this habit of like not watching things that I know I'll like. I'll explain it later in the video. But for right now, we're watching How to Beat Bear Stupidity in Obsession. If you like the video, subscribe, like, all that jazz, and yeah, that's about it for right now. I'll explain later. And yeah.
All right, imagine that you're so deep in the friend zone that you need a miracle to get out. Most people would just take the L, hit the gym, and bounce back a year later like, what's happening for real, shouty? But for every looksmaxer out there in the world, there's gonna be a million other guys just like Baron Bailey, or Bear for short. I mean, dude couldn't pull a chair out from under a table, like he's allergic to winning, and what's crazy is he is punching way above his weight class, going after the baddie of the friend group.
Damn, nigga, damn. Damn, hey, my boy, hey, shit. He trying to climb the corporate ladder. You can't fault him for that.
But just like most of you out there who couldn't help themselves if Nikki looked like Indy Navarrete, Bear makes a wish that his crush would fall absolutely head over heels with him, and it actually works. This would sound like your lucky day, right? Well, what if your new love interest starts acting bizarre and ends up making your life a living hell? Bear is about to realize that having your dreams come true can actually turn into your worst nightmares. So I'm here to break down the mistakes made, what we should do, and how to beat the one-wish willow in Obsession.
Yeah.
It all starts with this dude, Bear, the most down bad guy in the history of this entire YouTube channel. And he is so obsessed with his childhood friend slash coworker Nikki that it's kinda sad. But he's always been too nervous to actually say something, so today he's at the diner.
You wanna know the worst part is? Bear isn't ugly. And I feel like this is like the worst kind of like person. Well, not kind of well, Bear is a horrible person, I know that for a fact. I feel like this is the most horrible situation you could be in. You're not ugly. You're just you. And that's why people don't like you. I feel like being pretty but horribly single has to be like the worst, the most self-esteem damaging thing you can be. Because you have the looks. Nobody just likes you as who you are. That gotta suck. Damn.
Practicing his big I love you speech on the waitress. And when he's finally done yapping, his buddy Ian tells him it was cringy as hell. You see, Ian's got some other ideas when it comes to rizzing up Bear's crush, like calling her Freaky Nikki, which is the name they used to bully her with back in high school. But Bear, he's not really catching on here, and just when it feels like he couldn't get any less confident, he gets home to find his cat Sandy dead on the floor, making one down with 3 more to go. You see, Bear has been living in his grandmother's home ever since she passed away, and he carelessly left open the medicine cabinet in the hallway restroom. Poor Sandy must have accidentally hopped up there and gotten into the medicine, and it sends Bear further down his depressive spiral. Later that night, he's lurking on Nikki's IG when she actually calls him up and asks if he's coming to trivia night with their group of friends. Now, at first he turns her down, but then she drops the news that she's putting in her 2 weeks at the music store that they both work for. So he makes the decision that tonight's gonna be the night that he's gonna finally tell Nikki how he feels. Now, while they're on the phone, Nikki drops her crystal necklace down the drain, so being the good friend that Bear is, he heads to this little novelty hippie crystal gift shop on the way to the bar to surprise her with a new necklace. The salesperson is not really being the most convincing that a crystal necklace is the way to go here, and that's when something else catches his eye. He discovers this dinky little toy called a one-wish willow, and according to the box, apparently it grants whoever breaks it in half a single wish. And before he can shout,
yep. And again, maybe just me, all right? Maybe just how I am. You're telling, first of all, one, there's multiple of them. If I found this shit worked once, I'm buying 18 of these bitches. But first, secondly, You're telling me you can make what? I mean, I guess you didn't know it worked beforehand, so I guess that's a fact. At the same time, it's like, that's it? Really? You didn't want anything else? Money? Like, really? You want, again, I know he didn't think it'd work. But, like, really? You didn't want money, power? You could have gotten Gear 5 or some shit. I don't know.
Out the shop for coming in clutch, the employee here jokingly says, a lot of people complain that it's bullshit, of course, and is a total gimmick. But Bear just says, put the willows in the bag, bro, and dips out. Alright, this dude's officially thirstier than SpongeBob on dry land. It's like when you hear a guy trying to pick up a girl on Xbox Live in the voice chat.
Hello, what you go killing?
What was the question?
But I think we've all been there before, right? I mean, we're only human after all, so even though he's a total wuss, I'm genuinely rooting for this guy to get out of the friend zone. The only problem is, this dude got nerfed in the Charisma update. Long ago, ever since the first cave baddies walked the earth, people have been trying to figure out how to get their attention. And it's not just humans either. All kinds of animals have their different romance strategies, like those little penguins from Antarctica that impress their ladies by finding the perfect rock. Even if a penguin can find their soulmate, then at least there's still hope for old Bear. But that brings us our first question. How's a rizless dude like Bear supposed to get that mojo flowing? Well, the first thing he's
Hey, my guy, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think penguins was the right analogy here. Penguins cheat on their partners like a lot. Like a lot, like dead ass. Like there's penguin strip clubs. Penguins have a prostitution ring. I don't think that's the one you should be referencing. Hey, fuck me though, you know.
Gotta do is stop listening to a single thing that his buddy Ian says, because this whole calling her Freaky Nikki idea might actually be the worst plan I've ever heard. That might have counted as flirting back in high school, but it's definitely not gonna fly if he doesn't have the confidence to back it up. And now that they're getting older, that stuff's gonna just come off as immature and lame. The person he should be getting advice from is that waitress back at the diner, because as sappy as his whole speech was, she was absolutely eating it up. And you see, that's the difference, because instead of trying to impress Nikki by being somebody he's not, the only way he's really gonna find out if she likes him is to just be himself. So boom. I'm not saying he should head over to Nikki's holding a boombox outside her window like John Cusack and say anything. He did just mourn the loss of his cat, because if he gets too emotional, it's just gonna look weird. But the fact that she just put in her 2 weeks at work could actually be a blessing in disguise. Like, for one, at least now things won't be awkward at work if she rejects him too hard. But also, it kind of gives him the perfect opportunity to ask her out on a date. So instead of pulling her aside for some big emotional speech that might honestly come off as creepy, he should use the fact that she's leaving soon to bring it up naturally. Be honest about the fact that he likes her and just ask her out. And I mean, literally
To be fair, with how bro's life is going, he would have seen her on the bang bus. Like, bro, I'm gonna be dead ass. With how bro's life is going from bad to worse, he probably would have seen her ass on the bang bus one of these days if he didn't do that shit now. It's like, damn. It's like, hey, damn, bro, you see what Nikki got going on? And that girl had a time of her life. Shit. Fucking first thing he hears the Pornhub intro. Fucking hell, man.
First thing she can say is no. It's 50-50, but he's never gonna find out if he doesn't shoot his shot. The gang all meet up for trivia night, and we're introduced to Sarah and Nikki, the core 4 group of friends who all work together at Castle's music store, which is run by Sarah's father in San Fernando. This lovely group of friends goes way back, has a ton of history with one another, and always crushes it on trivia night. But the opportunity comes and goes without Bear getting his chance to talk to Nikki one-on-one. And at the end of the night, just as the group is ready to continue bar hopping, Nikki says that she's tired and keeps asking Ian to take her home. Ian wants to keep the party going at the karaoke spot, so seeing an opportunity, Bear offers to take her home instead. On the drive, the two of them start making some small talk, but honestly, they're not really hitting it off, and when Bear mentions he got her a little something, she reacts like he just shot somebody, so needless to say, it ain't looking too good. They get back to Nikki's house one awkward conversation later, and as she gets out, she mentions how when she has a crush on somebody, no one knows, which gives our boy a glimmer of hope. So he brings up this memory story about a time in band class that apparently meant a lot to him, only for her to cut him off mid-sentence saying it was no big deal. The signals at this point could not be more obvious, and as she's walking away, he throws one last Hail Mary and says, "See you later, freaky Nikki." Only it does not come off as confident as he planned. Now offended, she comes back to his car and decides to just ask him if he likes her. And now that the moment of truth is finally here, Bear chickens out and says that he only likes her as a friend. And she walks away seeming pretty confused by the whole thing. Now we'll never know what might have happened if Bear just said what is on his mind, but that's when our story really kicks off. Cause
yeah. Fuck. Oh god, this is Jesus Christ. I feel like I'm sitting in between like two damn radio communication centers. I'm just getting signals from every damn thing. Jeez.
Frustrated with himself, Bear breaks out his gift and says the magic words, "I wish Nikki loved me more than anyone in the fucking world," as he snaps the one wish willow in half. He then looks over to see Nikki standing on the porch, and as he's sitting there in shock, she comes walking back to the car and starts acting incredibly weird. First, she asks about his gift, but Bear lies and says that he'd left it at home. So then she
ain't even getting a gift? Oh my god, you suck.
Him inside, saying she could really use the company because her cat just died, only to turn around and go, "Wait, that was you," and still invites him inside anyway. It is absolutely bizarre, and even Bear thinks that she might have gone too hard at trivia night, when for a second she snaps out of it and starts acting like her normal self, but then goes right back to being all flirty with him again 2 seconds later. She dances around a little bit, grabs her things, and gets back in the...
I remember this. I remember this. I watched I have been watching things on like Obsession. I should really start watching them. I don't have Netflix. What the fuck am I talking about? What do you mean watch it? Anyway. Yeah, no. I heard somebody talk about this, how like it's extra horrifying because she's actually still kind of conscious during this, and now I realize that I'm like, oh, I thought she was like just straight up replaced, like she was like tied up or like dead somewhere and something else replaced her. No, she's still there. Oh, okay, all right, type shit, bro. Type shit.
Car. Now thinking she must have had way too much to drink, Bear keeps trying to turn her down, but all of a sudden she slumps down on the dashboard acting all depressed. And she hits him with the news that her father is dying. So not knowing what else to do, he finally caves and they set off back to Bear's crib. Okay, gang, I know all of you are always in the comments asking how I continue to fill my physical media cave with all this heat. Well, truth be told, a lot of...
Hey, that's crazy, bro. Actually, this is it's probably a needed thing considering the fact that, PlayStation's going with the way they do. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie. Let's say I did make this wish, right? Let's say, oh, I want Janice to fucking I like, oh wow, Janice, I love you so much. Please become my wife and all that shit. I said to the damn English hard. The one wish willow. The moment I figure out that worked, especially if I felt like Janice did not fuck with me at all. Fuck Janice. You're telling me that shit worked? Fuck Janice. I'm going back to that damn hell, I'm robbing the store. I don't care if it's closed. I'm going to that damn store. I'm taking every one wish willow they got. And I'm making 18 more wishes that same. Fuck, I don't care about Janice. Fuck her. I'd wish for Janice not to love me so I can take all that shit for myself. You're telling me I gotta share this shit in marriage? Hell no. Yeah, no. Moment I realized that one wish willow shit worked, priorities changed immediately. Now that could be because I'm like a slightly aromantic-ish person, or a former aromantic, so but like still,
but now I feel like this is borderline a crime. And sure, under any circumstances, this might seem like the luckiest night of his life, but this is so bizarre. Even he's got to realize that something is wrong here. To be fair, a normal person would not expect some dumb kid's toy to actually grant their wish, right? But there's already been a couple signs that it's more legit than it seems. First off, the place where he got the One Wish Willow might seem like just your average gift shop, but there was literally a warning sign right on the front door. The novelty store is called the Green Man, but that's more than just a reference to the devil's lettuce. You see, I looked it up. The Green Man is actually an old character from European folklore that represents the chaos of nature and giving into your primal instincts. So, right off the bat, we're already dealing with some...
Yeah, but people use other people's cultures and shit and like warning signs, quote unquote, all the time to sell their products. So the movie takes place in America, bro. You do anything to make that dollar ass America. That don't count.
Sketchy energy here before we even walked in the store, which brings us to this One Wish Willow thing. Like, how could just a little stick in a box be a red flag? Well, just like with the name the Green Man of the store, it all comes down to what the willow tree represents. In ancient Europe, willow trees were seen as magical places where spirits could cross over into our world, so people would actually use their branches for spells and magic rituals, exactly like what just happened here. Now, let's say he got suspicious before he actually tried it out. If he really wanted to be careful about this, he could have just looked it up online first to see what other people were saying, check out the reviews, maybe. And if there were one too many stories about it ruining someone's life, I'd probably be safer to just leave it in the box and return it. Either that, or I'd buy a second one and give it to somebody else, let them try it out first and see what happens. And if their wish actually came true, I'd know that I have to be super careful about how I use this thing, because the magic would be real. At the end of the day, though, using a wish to make Nikki fall...
I'm not gonna lie. My first thing I gotta realize, I gotta wonder about, okay, what's the limits on what I can do with this? Like, okay, let's say my friend asked for money, right? Like, they said they want $1 billion. Is $1 billion going to appear in their bank account, or are they going to be given $1 billion? Because, like, okay, all right, so you can't just make things in reality, even though digital money is kind of like, like non-existent anyway. But regardless, like, okay, that they asked for something physical, and they got the physical thing, but the physical thing already existed. Okay, I'm gonna ask my other friend, hey, I'm gonna ask somebody, like, hey, wish for something like non-physical, like you want I don't fucking know, magic's power from Marvel. Are they going to get that power, or are they going to get the closest thing to that power? Cause I'm like, okay, so I gotta figure out the rules and the limits on what I can do here. If I can break some physics, I'm gonna break some physics.
Love with him was never going to be smart, no matter how carefully he worded it, because not only is that completely unfair to her, but since he cheated to get her attention, it's never going to feel real anyway. And with the way that she keeps snapping out of it, I think it's safe to say the real Nikki isn't actually steering the ship, if you know what I mean. So if Bear wasn't so desperate that he wanted to completely ignore reality, this would be the chance to realize that he screwed up and start looking for a way to fix all this. But until he mans up and admits what he did, it looks like, in the meantime, Nikki's gonna be stuck. When they get back to Bear's place, the dude literally has a bottle of lotion sitting right next to the front door, like, okay. But Nikki seems like she loves the joint. Like, she comments that it smells just like him, which, okay, and when he insists that he'll sleep on the couch, she gets him to come back and get in his bed. Before he can even clock the vibe, Nikki's taking her shirt off, and that song Televisions by Current Joys starts playing as she cuddles up and puts her head on his shoulder, but that's when she turns around and leans in for a kiss. And since it's what he wished for, he decides to just go with it. Out of nowhere, suddenly snaps out of it and jumps back like, wait, what the f? only to go right back to being all in love with him again, trying to act like nothing happened. Then she just breaks down and starts sobbing until he finally lets it go. Later on, after she falls asleep, Broski gets up and decides to Google if One Wish Willows actually work. Naturally, there's mad Reddit threads where people are asking the same question. The mixed information isn't doing him any favors, with half the people swearing that it does work while the other half say that it's just a dumb toy. So he decides to get back in bed, hoping he's just overthinking all this, but Bear has no idea how bad he just messed up both their lives. The next morning, Bear wakes up to see that Nikki is already up and at him, but walking in the kitchen, all he finds is his dead cat, Sandy, lying there on the kitchen floor. Horrified, he picks up this little "I'm sorry" card as Nikki explains that it's supposed to be some kind of memorial, and the crazy part is, she can't seem to get why he doesn't like it, but he lets it go for now so they aren't late for work. Ian sees the two of them.
Question, did he, you know, did he, like do the thing with her after she snapped out of it and the actual her visibly did not want to do that? Was that the path he went down? I'm doing like hand signs with my hands, if you like, you can't tell because this is a model, but like did he do that? Also, another thing, apparently this was made by a YouTuber. So yeah, we now have Markiplier, Jack, whoever the fuck this is, and fucking, that's all so far. Yeah, Hollywood, listen to creative people, please. We've gotten the literal multiple people have made careers being creative. Please let them make more movies. You don't know what you're doing. Actually, no, the people who make the movies do know what they're doing. You just don't know what they're doing and you get in the way. Piss off. Damn. Shit.
Walk in and immediately pulls him over for a little bro down, thinking that Bear finally locked in. But as he starts explaining what happened last night, Ian is completely throwed. Bear says Nikki was acting like a different person, and it's all because she's emotionally wrecked due to the fact that her father is about to pass away. Ian immediately clocks that Nikki's father is barely in her life at all, and he's pretty sure they hate each other. So Bear guesses that maybe she was on one, like that one time they all took them you-know-whats and went to the club. And the whole time they're talking, she keeps staring at him with this big unnerving smile. Hours later, as the gang closes the shop for the day, Bear flat out says that he's not going to be able to give Nikki a ride home tonight, but she just goes, "I know," and grabs her bag and hops straight in Ian's car, leaving him even more confused. 2 hours later, Ian calls Bear and says apparently it was all one big misunderstanding and that she was definitely on a bean. But when somebody knocks on the door, Bear discovers Nikki in a fancy red dress standing before him. She starts out by confessing that she actually was on something, but that's not the only reason she's here.
The hell are you doing at my house? You don't know what I was doing in my home. I could have had shaving cream covered all over my body right now. You don't know. You don't just show up to somebody's door. I could have been covered in chocolate sprinkles and lathering myself in ice cream. You don't know what I'm doing in here. You don't know what I'm busy with. The hell you bothering me for? Again, we still ain't technically dating. If you don't get the hell off my porch.
Heartedly admits that after last night, she realizes that she too has feelings for him. And now that she kinda like said it out loud first, Bear finally admits that he too has feelings for her. Well, look who finally got the courage to say what's on his mind. Now, I hate to rain on Buddy's parade here, but the whole excuse that she was just on something ain't adding up, twin. At trivia night, she was on fire. And even though they didn't bring home the dub, Nikki didn't even seem drunk, let alone so messed up like she had no control over her actions. But if you've ever been around somebody that's zooted, like she said, it would have been a lot more obvious. Trust. And let's not brush past the fact that she turned his dead pet into an art project. Bear wants this to be true so bad, he's completely ignoring the magic. Like, if he was actually thinking with his brain instead of his smartphone, I guess, he'd have to admit that Nikki's not just acting weird, she's basically an entirely different person at this point. Whatever's going on with her, there's already been signs.
Yeah, and fucking, with, like, drinking and shit, you don't become a different person. Like, okay, think about this. If you're wasted, right? And somebody tells you, hey, jump off that bridge. Unless a part of you actually wants to jump off that bridge, you're not going to jump off the bridge. It just elevates who you are even more. Hell, if she was drunk, he would have known she didn't like him. She would have gone from, do you like me to, bitch ass nigga, get the fuck away. She would have turned to that, bro. Shit, that's the most energy I have put on this channel, period. That's the most energy I have ever put into saying anything, period, on this damn channel. Holy shit.
That it could get dangerous quickly. I'm just gonna go back to Sandy the cat for a second. When Nikki realized he didn't like what she did, that little makeshift memorial on the kitchen floor, Nikki genuinely couldn't understand why. Any sane person would be able to see what's so weird about that, and what does this tell us? If we're being smarter than Bear and actually admitting that the One Wish Willow was magical, then it seems logical that it translated his wish into pathological obsession, because that's like the most extreme form of love imaginable. The spell is completely throwing off her sense of right and wrong, like a confused AI model that only wants to make Bear happy all the time. Now, he could just go with it and keep pretending that it's all legit, but if he actually wants to do the right thing, he should be looking for a way to reverse the spell or wish before it gets any worse, you know? And I already have a few ideas for what he could do. First, we would be going straight back to the gift shop and try to get as much intel from the cashier as I could. She mentioned how everyone who uses them always comes back complaining, so there's a chance that she might know a ritual to undo the spell, or at least be able to tell me more about how it actually works and where the hell the One Wish Willow even comes from, right? That Reddit thread would also be a good place to start, since there's already posts from a bunch of people saying their wish came true. I'd open up those DMs and reach out to anyone who posted there and try to learn from their story, like what they actually wished for versus what ended up actually happening. Did the wish ever wear off, or did they find some way to reverse it? Another thing that I noticed was on the back of the box, it says to wait 24 hours for your wish to come true, which could mean that the spell gets stronger over time. So instead of letting Nikki come over, he should be trying to stay as far away from her as possible, since then it might take longer or the spell might start to wear off. But I think we all know that Bear's about to not do that. As sure as the sun will rise, these two become inseparable. Just two goofy goobers, madly in love, making everyone else around them sick. They're sneaking off to make out at work, reading together at night, making fucking French toast in the morning. Like, what the f? And as cringy as it is, it appears that they're genuinely happy. But as the days go by, Bear can't shake the feeling that none of this is real. Payday arrives, so they head out for a romantic dinner, and Bear admits that he'd like to become a food critic one day, and Nikki laughs and says that she would fully support his career path. Reaching into her bag, she presents Bear with a gift. It's her tiger's eye gem necklace that has been in her family forever and even used to belong to her mom. This hits Bear hard because his original decision to get Nikki a gift, but never does, mirrors her genuine, meaningful gift. Confused as to why she would bestow such a precious heirloom to him, Ian starts blowing up Bear's phone, so he excuses himself to see what the deal is. Like a good friend should, Ian looked into this situation with Nikki's dying father, and according to several people, the dude is perfectly healthy, clocking into work every day and all that shit. But it's not just that. Ian has been talking to Sarah at work, who said that Nikki has been telling everyone that she's not really in love with Bear, he's just like her little brother or something. So now everyone around them is like, yo, what the f? Shook. Bear walks back to the table, and she can tell right away that something's on his mind. So he just rips off the band-aid and straight up asks if her dad is really sick, but that was his biggest mistake. Nikki starts flipping out, creating a massive scene in their section and swearing she thought the two of them were on a nice date. So Bear, doing the only thing he knows how, remains calm, sits back, and tells Nikki that everything is going to be alright. Smash cut to Bear and Nikki doing that thing that couples do, and hours later, Bear wakes up to use the restroom and notices that Nikki is gone. It's 3:45 a.m. and not only is the vibe in the room completely off as his night vision adjusts, he notices the silhouette of Nikki standing perfectly still in the corner of his room. Like a creature of the night, she walks
That shit ain't human. That's not a person. No.
towards him, saying he's adorable while he sleeps and that his shirt smells just like him. Bear's heart rate spikes as cold sweat goes down his back, frozen in fear. And without warning, Nikki rewinds back to her spot and begins to sob uncontrollably. "I don't like my dreams," she says, "and it seems like you don't love me as much as I do and that it doesn't feel mutual between us." Bear tells Nikki she's scaring him, but she just tells him to go back to sleep again in this creepy, psychotic voice, and then randomly darts for the living room screaming, "Why don't you love me?" only to come back in holding roses in front of her face. And I mean, there's no telling what she's about to do now, but after standing there in total silence, she just puts it down and says it's for his cat, and then hops back into bed and falls asleep. In the morning, Bear notices that Nikki cut his hair while he was sleeping. When he asks her low-key what the happened last night, she just pulls him in for a kiss until that lizard brain kicks in. It's Nikki's day off, so Bear makes her promise to just stay home and act normal until he gets back. But it's too late, as she's covered the entire front door in duct tape, suggesting that he just stay home for the day.
Wait, hold on, pause, wait.
Makes her promise to just stay home and act normal until he gets back. But it's too late, as she's covered the entire front door in duct tape.
Where you even get this much duct tape from? That doesn't even look, it looks solid. How did I not hear any of this? What do you mean you covered the door in duct tape? Wait, like, at what time did you get up, take my keys, drive to the store, buy that much duct tape, come back home, duct tape the entire wall, and get back in bed without me noticing? How did... That's not even good duct taping for real. You can just like okay, get one side, because it's all fusing to one now. Get one side, hit a Hercules. Rip it off. It's all coming together. This ain't even a good job. What's going on here, bro?
Suggesting that he just stay home for the day since he can't get out the front door. Taking a deep breath, he plays it off like nothing's wrong, awkwardly yanking on the handle until it finally comes loose. One last goodbye, and Nikki just stands there staring.
Oh, she better whoop your ass. She better whoop your ass. Oh, she gonna fuck you up. Oh, she gonna fuck you up. Yeah. Yeah, she just saw her plan get foiled that easy. She said, "You made her look dumb." Yeah. No, she gonna fuck your ass up.
Staring at the door, and the second he's gone, Nikki unleashes her bowels onto the floor, which we can't show you on YouTube, so here's a shot of me holding my dachshund. Say what up, Kilo?
You dog.
But yeah, the is really hitting the fan. It's got to be like a week and a half since he made the wish, and Nikki's already gone way past clingy to acting like a demonic cartoon. It's got to be one of two things, right? Full mental breakdown or the One Wish Willow. Can Bear afford to get her a psychiatrist? No, bruh. It's got to be the One Wish Willow gang. It seems like if he ever goes home again, she's never gonna let him leave. But as long as Nikki thinks that he's at work, this actually gives him some time to try some shit out. Her behavior last night would suggest in some way Nikki's former self was trying to break through. Like when Nikki says that she doesn't like her dreams, it could be that the real Nikki is trapped inside and her dreams are where she experiences the truth. Wish Nikki is falling apart because she's aware that something is missing. Like, she has all this love to give to Bear, but she doesn't feel whole. It's creepy as because it might be the first hint that freaky Nikki is not happy either. The flowers she used to block her face right before she got in bed and went to sleep seemed to me like she was hiding the wrong version of herself. Either the real Nikki is trying to hide or break through. So why not just use the One Wish Willow to make another wish? Well, okay, the problem with that package clearly says you only get one wish. I feel like at this point, all he's got to do is use someone else's wish to cancel his out. I mean, that's like wish.
I mean, yeah, it says you only get one wish, but that doesn't mean that, you know, like, okay, I only get one wish with this one I break. That don't mean that if I grabbed another one, that don't mean that I don't get a second wish. That only means I only get one wish using this One Wish Willow. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know, man. All I'm saying, and I think I'm grabbing 18 of them bitches.
101 though. Bear needs to get on his fucking bike and go back to the Green Man and buy up that whole box of One Wish Willows, even the ones up underneath the register that they haven't even put out yet because it's time. He's also gonna need an Academy Award winning script because the wish has to be absolutely perfect to make sure that nothing goes wrong. I'd write down something like, I wish for Nikki Freeman to go back to exactly how she was before Bear made his wish. Like, let's just start with that one. Try walking up to some random stranger who's never even heard of a One Wish Willow. Maybe cut them a deal. Look for someone down on their luck, take the willow out of the package first so that they don't get any ideas, then offer them 500 ducats, but only if they break the stick and repeat the exact words that I wrote down on a piece of paper. He could also just go with someone he trusts, like Ian or Sarah. If Ian's not down, Sarah might honestly be a better option because she already likes Bear full stop, thinks he's dreamy and all that shit, and is good friends with Nikki, giving her every reason to want to help them out. All they have to do is use one of their wishes to break the spell, and bingo.
When I get Nikki to do, well, you know, that's okay, sorry, mic issue. But yeah, I was gonna say why I'm getting Nikki to do it, but knowing Nikki, her ass would not want that to wish for that, period. She would probably just make Mike into the same, or Bear into the same thing. Yeah, nah. My thing is, like, it's like a moral issue. I want to get somebody who's gonna die, who, like, for their wish. It feels weird taking somebody's one wish even though they're probably never going to use it. I don't know, it does feel icky to me.
Problem solved. Later that day, Bear and Sarah take their lunch break at the music store and finally get to let loose for an hour. Bear opens up his lunch Nikki prepared for him and finds two weird Polaroids. One of him from some kind of strange angle, and the other one's a selfie of them in bed with the words "not me" written on the bottom. Sarah says that it's so weird just how serious they've become. Bear confronts her with the private info Ian shared about Bear, about how Nikki comes to work sometimes and says that she thinks about him like a little brother. Sarah's pissed that Ian likes to share secrets between the friend group, but before she knows it, her father pulls her aside as another college rejection letter comes in. Her dad is giving her one more chance before she has to either move out of his house, stop applying to liberal arts colleges, start her career, you know, being her dad about things, right? Deflated, she takes a seat and puts her head on Bear's shoulder.
Sorry, huh?
During their little moment, she grabs the cheesy note that Nikki put on his lunchbox, teasing him about how whack the two of them have become. Only when she flips it over, she notices something weird. On the other side, it says, "What's the verdict on Cat?" And when he looks down at his sandwich, that's
I had a feeling, yeah.
when it hits him. This girl actually cut up pieces of his dead cat and fed it to him like a damn peanut butter and jelly sandwich. With a sense of dread that only people who have accidentally eaten their pets can relate to, he chucks up Sandy in the bin and swears that it's just an inside joke between Nikki and himself. After clocking out, Ian asks for a ride back to his crib, and he's got some more questions about what's been going on with Nikki. He says the whole thing is sus as and people are starting to wonder if Bear is doing anything shady, but he swears that their relationship is legit. If Bear can prove that there's no toxic codependency going on between them, he should be able to leave Nikki at home for the night and kick it at Ian's place for some beer pong. Bear grows less confident about how he's going to relay the news to Nikki and how she'll take him going out without her. Plus, he's still got to confront her about the whole cat thing, so he sits in the driveway for a minute.
Y'all know what's odd? In my opinion, I genuinely thought that, like, I was gonna be like, damn, this is even worse because like Nikki is like out of control, literally out of control of her body, and she's being made to look like the weird one because, you know, she is. Well, whatever is controlling her is making her look weird. But the fact that even then they're still like, nah, he's gotta be up to something. This gotta be this guy. How odd you gotta be as a person to where the girlie could put yo dead feline in a sandwich, and yet they still think you did something. That's not normal. No shit, Sherlock, that's not normal.
Practicing what he's gonna say. The One Wish Willow music faintly plays from inside his backpack, so he takes out the box and decides to ring up the customer service number, and somebody picks up. And the guy on the other line sounds weirdly chill, and he keeps replying with these simple one-word answers until Bear asks if he can cancel his wish. The guy says the only way to do that is if the person who made the wish dies, meaning Nikki's gonna be stuck like this as long as he's still alive. Bear asks him why Nikki suddenly becomes enraged and randomly spazzes out, and the guy just asks Bear if he wants to talk to Nikki to find out. On speakerphone, all he hears is the real Nikki violently screaming in the background until he finally hangs up. Alright, this scene perfectly captures an entire generation's fear of calling up strangers on the phone. You used to be able to ask random strangers if their refrigerators are running, but now if you ask questions, somebody might tell you that they've got your girlfriend's soul captive in the shadow realm. And whatever replaced her, it's most likely something demonic. But as bad as that sounds, there's still some good news, because the more we know about what we're up against, the better our chances are of finding a way to bring her back. This changes a lot about how we can approach things, because first of all, we don't have to be nice to Nikki or anything like that, since we know that it's not even the real her. But we still have to be careful to keep her physically safe, since...
Another thing we now know, apparently, somebody's wish, maybe, the rules are weird, maybe you didn't ask that, because, like, okay, let's say somebody wished for $1 million, but this person used their wish for that. Hey, I guess. Like, what if one person wished for their wish to cancel somebody else's wish? Like, what's the rules there? Like, do neither wishes just come true, or like, is that what happens? Like, we can't use another wish to cancel the wish on Nikki. Like, what's the deal here?
She's gonna need her body if and when we can break the spell. It's gonna be a delicate balancing act. She's steadily getting more unhinged with every minute that goes by, and it feels like any minute now she might start getting really violent. But since we can't just roundhouse kick the demon out of her without causing some injuries, that means that we're gonna have to plan ahead. And at this point, Bear should hit up a few stores first and arm himself with some non-lethal weapons before he gets back home. Like, he's gonna need that pepper spray, blinding her for a minute or two, and giving me a chance to get away. I'm also picking up a high-powered flashlight for the same reason, since shining it straight in her eyes could throw her off, and at the very least we grabbing a straitjacket or some ratchet straps in case we have to restrain Nikki from hurting herself. All that's just to keep her safe. I mean, we still have to break this spell and bring her back to normal. And even though the guy on the phone said that it can't be done, I still have a few ideas. The first thing I'd do is go back to the shop and buy all the One Wish Willows like I mentioned before, and then I'd try having someone just just wish her back to normal. But if that didn't work, then we go to the next plan, which is using a wish to change the way that wishing works. You see, guy on the phone never said you cannot change a wish. He just said that they do not. So I'd just get somebody to wish that the One Wish Willow helpline had the power to cancel people's wishes with no negative consequences as long as they asked for it. Boom! I just beat them at their own game. And then Bear could just cancel his wish.
Ooh, yeah. Change the way wishing works. Ooh, that's good. That's good. Ooh, I like that.
And they could all just put this crazy happening behind them. Well... So back inside, he flips on the lights, only to find Nikki looking like a disgusting mess. Looks like she's been standing in the same spot all day, but she just blames it on a stomach bug and hops straight in the shower. He tries confronting her about Sandy, but she pretty much just ignores it, hoping he'll just move on. But when he brings up going to boys' night over at Ian's, the shower instantly stops, because apparently Sarah already texted her and said that they were both invited. Nikki starts flipping out again until he finally gives up and asks her to tag along. And Ian is not happy that he didn't stick to the plan. Both of them agree to just ride the night out, but Bear is really on some thin ice with his friends. So eventually everyone starts playing a game of Jenga, where each piece has a challenge written on the blocks in Sharpie. When one of their friends pulls switch seats, he decides to trade places with Bear. So right away, Nikki starts getting all clingy in front of the whole squad. Somebody cracks a joke about how it seems like Nikki is under a spell, but she starts cracking up way harder than everybody else, making the whole vibe incredibly awkward. And that's when Freaky Nikki hits phase 2 immediately. It's her turn and she pulls a brick, but doesn't reveal what it says. But she does stand up and looks like she's about to read something from her notes app. Before anyone can clock what's going on, she's reading some insane fetish fanfic of some absolutely messed up version of the fairy tale Hansel and Gretel that seems oddly like it's supposed to be about her and Bear, and it's the creepiest thing that anyone at the party has ever heard. And when she's
fucking what when did you write that? At what point look at it. Look at old boy in the back. He ain't even part of this friend group. He just came here as a plus one. No, this is like in a public space, right? I'm pretty sure it is. It's like somebody's house. This like somebody's house. Fucking hell. A buddy in the back here, he like, what the fuck did she just say?
finally done, she just sits down as if it was totally normal, and after a few seconds of awkward silence, they decide to just move on and act like nothing ever happened. Bear's turn as he pulls the piece that says, kiss the person to your left, which is not good because that means he has to kiss Sarah. Swiftly, Nikki jumps up and hits him with how your girlfriend looks at you when you eat the last slice of
I wonder what the actor was thinking at this moment. It's like, hey, we need you to do a very sad and like sad smile. Did a normal one, and we need some more, like a little bit. Like now we need extra more, and disappeared. Yeah, how do you not laugh making this face?
the pizza face ass, and then walks over to Sarah's chair, slides it back, and takes her place on Bear's left, all without saying a word. He nervously leans over and gives her a kiss, which sends her on another vaguely threatening speech about how everyone else in the room will never know the beauty of true love. Right at the end of her TED Talk, the real Nikki surfaces for just a moment, screaming that this is not me, and shatters a wine bottle on the table and starts jamming the glass into her face. The spell takes over again, sending everyone at the party running for their lives, and Bear is just like, all right, I'ma head out. All right, I've seen some couples do some embarrassing stuff at parties before, but this joint right here just went down in the Hall of Fame of crash outs. Nikki's officially gone from being a stage 5 clinger to actually violent. And if Bear lets this keep going, it's only a matter of time before she straight up kills somebody. Now, there's still a chance that they can save her as long as they hurry the fuck up. Bear is still the only one who knows there's a magical side to all this, even if this was just a regular mental break. Brother,
you gotta ask to rewind time. You gotta ask it's rewind time to bring this shit back, because Nikki, Lord knows what Nikki's done in the past couple fucking weeks YouTubing together. The friend group are already fucked up. Lord, you gotta ask for rewind time, dog. You ain't making it out of this shit.
Breakdown, things have officially gotten to the point where they need professional help. He can't just pull up at the mental hospital and drop her at the door. Even adults who swear that they're fine can still be held for a while if the doctors genuinely believe they're a danger to themselves or others. Instead of him and Nikki leaving by themselves, I would take Ian, Sarah, and anyone else who wanted to come with me and then bring Nikki straight to the emergency room. And while she was there, I'd calmly explain what just happened back at the party, leaving out anything that...
You know what's worse? Sarah and Ian, I don't know what it is. But Sarah and Ian have been the movie has been suggesting that they could potentially be a thing. Potentially. If they were to get together, it wouldn't be bad. But it's fucking this bastard deciding to obsess over one woman. Deciding that this one woman's my entire life. That's not how that shit works, bro, Chacho. Fuck.
That involves the magic stuff. With Ian and the others as witnesses, they should be able to have Nikki held there for at least a little while, and even though the doctors wouldn't actually be able to solve things, that would at least give them some time to work on a plan while she's in a safe place. Back at the house, Nikki is still trying to act like everything is perfectly fine. It's pretty obvious that's not the truth. She's still acting hella clingy, even trying to follow him to the restroom. Frustrated, he asks why she went nuts back at the party, saying how it scared all their friends. All Nikki has to say is, I know Sarah likes you. Like that's somehow the problem here. Bear wants to know if the real Nikki actually likes him, not just this weird version of herself that's been around these last few weeks. She just hits him with this big demonic smile and goes, not to worry, I'm your freaky Nikki, which is obviously something the real her would never say. They keep arguing back and forth, and Bear brings up the idea of spending just one night apart, causing her to start sobbing and promising that she can be normal. The more she tries to fix it, the worse it gets, until even Bear has to admit that her feelings for him were never real. And just as he's finally realizing this, she looks him dead in the eyes and goes, I love you in every reality. It seems so genuine, he folds and says, I love you too, still wanting all this to be true. But that's when Nikki...
God! Brother, man! Okay. This is some of the shit that made me turn to being aromantic, or itching to be aromantic. I don't want to be aromantic. If I could turn off a switch and get rid of all romantic and sexual love in my brain, I would. But fucking, it's shit like this where it's I get it, true love, all that jazz, yada yada. I'm gonna need you to throw that shit in the trash. I'm gonna need some of you to throw that shit in the trash. Being obsessed with one person, it's literally like gambling. You put all your bets on red, and if you don't hit red, you just lose your house. You gotta clock into work. You still gotta eat tomorrow. You can't. You put all your money on red. That's why you never put all your money on red. And maybe 200 here. You got 1,000, you put 200 here, you put 300 on black, and then if shit don't work, then you leave, come back with a new paycheck, and then you try again. You never put all your money on black. You never put all your money on either color, really. But you know what I mean. You gamble, come back with the next paycheck, and then come back.
Jumps up and walks backwards towards the kitchen like somebody just hit the rewind button. Then she hits him with a little pump fake before just standing there watching from the shadows.
Heavy.
Terrified, the dude nervously says that he's gonna go spend the night at Ian's. She just replies, okay, in this monotone voice, and when he calls her back, she starts going off on another long, vaguely threatening speech that kinda makes it seem like she wouldn't be alive when he gets home. So in the end, Bear decides that he better stay. Sometime later, he's lying there awake when he gets a text from Sarah. She's got some urgent intel and wants to meet up at the park, but when he asks her to just text it, she threatens to just show up at his house instead. So after making sure that Nikki is out cold, he carefully moves her arm and gets out of bed. Just then he hears Nikki's voice behind him. When he turns around, she's still fast asleep. That's when he realizes it's the real Nikki calling to him from the other side. She starts asking him to kill her before she wakes up. Hurt, he asks why she'd rather die than be with him, only for her to reply that it's never been the real her. Bear decides now is his only chance to get away and walks down to the neighborhood park. Alright, now that's just messed up. By now, Bear should be feeling like a total shithead for what he did, but honestly, it's a good thing he didn't listen to the voices in his head, because we really don't even know if that's really Nikki or just the demon trying to mess with him. But with that being said, going to meet with Sarah would be the biggest mistake that he could possibly make here. First of all, he doesn't know if demonic Nikki is really asleep or just pretending to be. And after what happened at the party, if she catches Bear with Sarah alone in a parking lot at night, yeah, she's gonna catch a body. So the smarter thing to do would be to just tell Sarah he can't meet because it's dangerous, and then find a more natural time to hear what she has to say, like in the morning when they're both at work. I would say for things being as tense as they are, now wouldn't really be the time to sneak out of the crib, but maybe he's hoping that there's something Sarah has for him that could help this situation, and I've got one last idea that's so crazy it just might work. Remember, the One Wish Willow customer service representative on the phone said that if Bear dies, it'll break the spell. So for this plan, he's gonna need 2 people he trusts with his life. But since he doesn't have any of those, Ian and Sarah are probably gonna be the ones that have to help him out. First, he needs to go back to the store and get 2 more One Wish Willows. And then one of them's gonna have to wish Bear was dead, and once he dies, the spell should be broken, and then as soon as Nikki's back to normal, the second person can wish Bear back to life. It's definitely risky, but unless he can think of another plan, this might be the only way. Garsh!
I'd personally suggest repentance, firstly. So maybe step into church on Sunday, talk to Pastor John in the confession booth. And then die. So at the very least, maybe God gonna look at you sideways. Don't get it twisted. But you won't step completely. Maybe you'll head to purgatory for a bit and then earn your way to the pearly gates. But I don't think you want to die having this on your conscience. No, just having this be the last thing you did. I'm not, granted, you did die to free her, so but that still, church on Sunday, 8 o'clock. I don't care what God you believe in. 8 o'clock.
Scoob? He finds Sarah sitting in her car chilling at the park. When she asks what's going on with Nikki, he just lies and blames it all on her sick dad. Confused, she says that she thought Nikki hated the guy, but he keeps insisting that it's the truth, so changing the subject, she pulls out the last letter from her dream school saying that she's waited until now to open it. They start goofing around and cracking jokes in a way that honestly seems more natural than Bear and Nikki ever did, but before she opens the letter, there's something she has to tell him first. It turns out that Nikki and Ian have been casually hooking up for the last 2 years. So now Ian thinks that Nikki is using Bear as a way to get back at Ian. And even if that's not true, she thinks it sucks that he's with somebody who's not really the best fit for him. Strongly.
And hold on, not to mention, so that's why Brody said to call her Freaky Nikki, or Freaky, what the hell? Damn, whatever he said, Freaky Nikki, whatever they said. That's why he said that shit. He was sabotaging. Oh, that makes it. Why didn't y'all just say y'all was hooking up from the get-go? Why? What? Huh? why didn't y'all just say that from the jump? I mean, I guess they weren't telling him because he liked her, but if that's the case and Nikki knew that she didn't like, I'm not victim blaming. Don't get twisted. Nikki is absolutely the victim here. 1,000%. Ian's kind of a dickhead, but like, why did they say that shit to them? So I get this shit out of his dome.
Hinting that she's talking about herself. And even after everything that's happened, this dude actually starts thinking that she might be the one after all. But Nikki's not about to let that slide, and just as Sarah starts to hint that they should kiss for real, Nikki comes sprinting over, smashes straight through the window, and starts slamming Sarah's head against a brick over and over until her face is completely crushed, making 2 down with 2 more to go.
Not the bad bitch! Come on, man! I can't have shit in Detroit. Fucking hell, your baddie is gone. Now you left with the crazy one. You dumbass. How the hell you ain't? I mean, I guess it is nighttime, but like, how the hell you ain't seen that?
Nikki stops and runs straight to Bear's door, acting like a worried mom, while also blaming him for the whole thing. She keeps reminding him that he wished for this while he just sits there in total shock. But they have to do something with the body, and too scared to think straight, he helps Nikki take her back to the music store and stuffs her in a big tuba case. Like, damn, son. After that, Nikki tells him to head back to the crib, but instead, he goes straight to the gift shop looking for another One Wish Willow. Fed up, he asks how they can still sell these things to innocent people, but the guy points out that they're covered in warnings on the box, so buyer beware type shit. And when he finds out Bear's wish was for his dream girl to fall in love with him, he just acts surprised and says that it can't be all that bad. The employee says it's impossible to reverse a wish once you've made it, and since everyone only gets one, Bear can't use it to make another one, but there is one thing he could try: getting someone else to use their wish to cancel his out. Either that or one of them has to die, so he grabs the last 3 off the shelf and runs back to his car. Well, Bear,
I'm wishing back Sarah expeditiously. Mind you, I wouldn't be in this situation to begin with. I'm wishing back. No, that would just make something piloting Sarah's body. No, I can't do that. Can I wish for a drug that would I could put in Sarah's body to where it makes her cells regenerate far faster without any negative side effects? Could I do that? I'm gonna stretch the rules of this damn witch to hell and back. No, you tell it. I'm left with crazy. No.
I guess this is why they always say be careful what you wish for. And poor Sarah. I mean, let's be real, she was just trying to figure out why that was driving her friend insane. And now that your demonic girlfriend just put her on a t-shirt, there's really only one thing left to say. Come on, everybody, say it with me. Bear, you have officially fucked up. This might be one of the craziest things that we've ever seen here on the channel. Before Bear even made the wish, it was obvious Sarah had a thing for him, so if he wasn't so obsessed with Nikki, he could have had a normal, healthy relationship with a girl who actually liked him. But this dude genuinely put his crush under magic mind control, then wants to turn around and cheat on her after she's been possessed by a demon. Brother, that is wrong on so many levels. I don't even know where to start. At this point, I can't even feel bad for him since this entire disaster was 1,000% his fault. So congratulations, Bear.
Yeah, this is absolutely his fault. I don't. What the hell? Oh, my sweet heavenly Father! Somebody's calling me. My microphone. Where are you? Here you are. What was I talking about again? I have zero idea. My entire train of thought is gone.
Because you have fucked up, and I honestly cannot wait to see how you land the plane here. Let's pull up a chair and find out. Smash cut to Bear in the whip. He breaks out one of the new sticks, trying to wish that Nikki only liked him as a friend, but no matter how hard he tries, the damn thing won't snap in half. Needing another solution, he decides to try getting Ian's help instead. So he admits that the whole thing about making a wish actually came true. Obviously, it all sounds so crazy that Ian is just about to swing on him. Ian opens the pack package, and Bear starts telling him how to word his wish so that it cancels the whole thing out. But out of nowhere, Ian just goes, "I wish for $1 billion," and breaks the stick. And boy, is he surprised when $1 billion cash starts literally falling.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm taking all of that. Hey, Ian, I'm telling you right now, I'm robbing you blind. I'm robbing you blind, and I'm gonna get away with it too, because with that $1 billion, I can pay off the cops. I can pay off the police. I'm robbing your punk ass blind. Realistically, Bear's most likely gonna die at the end of the movie, but if not, and I saw this shit and I asked you to wish for something to save somebody else, I'm taking that money. Also, this means that the One Wish Willow can create matter. Either create it or make it appear out of thin air from wherever the fuck. That's very good to know. That's very good to know. Oh, I'd be running whole experiments with this thing. Oh, shit. This is gonna sound horrible. This is gonna sound horrible. No, because then they could wish for them to be healthy. I'd do some horrible shit with this thing. I'd be going to crazy lengths to get people to wish for my shit, bro. Fuck. I'd be like, "Hey, sir, you love your life? No? Well, do I got an idea for you to make mine a little better?"
From the sky. With no time left, Bear drops to his knees and just stares at him, completely out of ideas. He rushes down the street back to his house, and Nikki comes walking out of the shadows, wearing Sarah's clothes and badly drawn her tattoos and Sharpie all over herself, and starts absolutely freaking out worse than anything else so far. Bear has unexpectedly walked into the final boss room, slowly backing down on the couch as Nikki pulls out a revolver just as Ian starts banging on his front door. She just turns around and blasts him straight in the head, making 3 down with 1 more to go. And with no other...
However, though, that $1 billion is still right there. It's still... Now, that billion is money in paper, and I don't know how much $1 billion is in paper money, because I don't think there's that much paper. I don't think that much paper money has been printed. Also, that could genuinely just be monopoly money, if I'm going to be honest. But still, that room could have combusted from the pressure of holding $1 billion. I'm still going back to grab it, though.
Way to calm things down, Bear decides to just play along, and that's when he finally realizes what he's got to do. He lies and tells Nikki that they should go freshen up, but the minute they get to the restroom, he slams the door and locks himself inside. But as long as he's alive, Nikki's never going to be the same, so he takes out the blammer and starts thinking about uninstalling his OS. But in the end, he just can't make himself do it. Instead, he reaches into the cabinet and downs a bottle of meds, only to chicken out at the last second and start trying to make himself puke them up. And without warning, he hears the One Wish Willow jingle coming from a freshly opened box in the living room, and suddenly he gets up and walks outside. Turns out Nikki used the last wish to make Bear fall in love with her. So now they both finally got what they wanted in an absolute twisted way. But as he leans in for a kiss, he suddenly falls over from all the oxy in his system, and there's nothing Nikki can do as he dies in her arms, making 4 down with no more to go. Completely heartbroken, Nikki starts breaking down in tears, but all of a sudden the spell snaps off, and as she wakes up surrounded by her friends' bodies, having absolutely no idea what even happened. So in the end, that makes 4 victims down, with Nikki as the only survivor, and it looks like she's about to have the worst hangover of her life. But as for the rest of us...
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, fuck. Oh. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, wait, that's genuinely terrible. That's genuinely bad. Oh, wait, no. Oh, fuck. Oh no. So oh, so I'm assuming she doesn't fully know what maybe the bits and pieces. Okay, let's assume like the time she knew what was happening were only the bits and pieces, like she was conscious and lucid. Well, no, she was awake the entire time, considering she said the I am not I, like this isn't me thing. So she just wakes up. So she just wakes up to like I don't think she cares about killing Bear. I don't know. Well, maybe. I don't She doesn't know why Bear acted that way. I'm assuming. So like, so let's say she feels guilt about Bear. She done chopped up Bear, shot, messed up Julia. That was like her home, like one of her day one homegirls. She fucked with him. She shot her fuck buddy. Fucking, I gotta stop swearing as much in these videos. She proceeded to also, was it fucking chopped up the cat, and now she's sitting in a pool of her, like a pool of, she's cut up, tattoos drawn on her with probably Sharpie, wearing her dead friend's dress. Fucking, what is it? Also having blood on her in multiple bodies. Well, multiple bodies that have her fingerprints, DNA, a crime scene all over. She's going to prison. She's going to, and somebody's going to take that $1 billion. Somebody's going to rob that $1 billion blind. I know I would. I would have taken at least half. $1 billion? Are you crazy? Oh my gosh. No, she's dead ass going to prison. She's genuinely going to jail for the rest of her life. She's supposedly killed 2 people. No, her life is over. Her life is genuinely done. Oh, I mean, she's not bound by anything anymore. But like, wow, okay.
Plus, there's definitely a lesson to be learned here. If you ever need magical Riz to get out of the friend zone, you better be careful what you wish for. Obsession 2026. And this movie ain't going nowhere, baby. This movie is gonna be every Halloween, every year. It's an instant classic. I love it, dude. If you watch enough shitty movies and something like this comes along, it's like finally some good fucking food. And I love that evil shit. I need that mean-spirited, nihilistic movie to come along every now and again to shake me up. And Obsession definitely is that movie. 5.
Yeah. This is a good concept. The only concept I know of this is gonna sound cringy as fuck, but I like. It's like one of the people figured out what the term yandere meant, and was like, okay, how do I crank this up from something that's already at 99 to something that's like at 150? Like, how do I do that? And I fucks with it, because yandere in and of itself is a horrific concept. I fucks with it. I fucks with it. I'm too broke to afford the movie. That's why I'm watching this. But I fucks with it as a concept. Why? Bravissimo, sir. You checkmate. Shit. Anyway, that's about it for me. If you like the video, subscribe, all that jazz, and yeah, I'm gonna catch you next time. Baby, peace.